When we connect with our hearts and choose to release all that is no longer serving us, we can begin to peel back the layers of programming and conditioning within ourselves that never really were us to begin with. I believe that our hearts hold all of the answers, as everything we need inside of us, and it is through love that we can create heaven on earth. It is through opening our hearts fully that we can transform, as love has the ability to heal all and bring us back home to who we truly are. Jessica Rosalie. Welcome, beloveds. Welcome back to the Sovereign Divinity Podcast as we continue our chat around light codes and light language. And this week I have an amazing guest, Jessica Rosalie. And Jessica, when I first met Jessica, her light, her radiance just said it all. Like I looked at her, I was like, that's one of my soul sisters. And you get to experience this radiance and this light and this unconditional love that beams out of her as you just listen to her, as you just you're in her energetic presence. She is an amazing goddess, just filled with grace and love and light. And I'm so excited to have her on this podcast. I'm so excited to have you meet her. A little bit about Jessica. She is an Ascension guide and new Earth Wayshower, a light language activator, and also the co-founder of the Starseed School. And she'll talk more about that in the interview. She's an empathic, intuitive, and divine feminine who connects with the frequency of unconditional love and brings that energy into the work that she does. It is through her own journey of self-love that has enabled her to have such an open-hearted approach to all that she does. When she began to recognize that her sensitive nature was not a weakness, but truly her greatest gift, she was able to empower herself to guide others along their journey. She now believes it is part of her mission to assist in empowering others on their path to help them reach their fullest potential and awaken to their innate gifts and abilities. Help me welcome Jessica Rosalie. Hello, everybody. Hello, Rosalie. I'm like calling you with your middle name and stuff.
People do that a lot, actually.
That is fascinating. Oh
it's
my
actually
gosh.
really funny. I've been told that I've been called that in other lifetimes. I went by Rosalie. And so I wonder why, if that's like a soul thing.
And it's so funny because earlier I just called you Jessica. And
Yeah.
then we started and I'm calling you Rosalie. Oh my God. That is hilarious. Welcome, Jessica. I am so excited to have you here. You can tell I'm so excited to have you
Yeah.
here. Oh my
I'm so
gosh.
excited too.
Yes. But I'm excited to have this chat about light language and light codes with you because I know, well, your beloved actually we just had a chat. And so it's
Yes.
really cool to also have you here. And we've had some of your students also pop in and talk about light codes and share their gifts. So I'm just excited to have you guys here so that we can hear, from your wisdom and from you, like from the aspect of the divine feminine too. So I'm really excited to hear that. Oh gosh, there's like so much coming in. Let's let's just start here. How did it even begin for you? When did it activate? Like what was that beginning like?
It was all at once, it seemed, actually. So I had a little bit of a starseed awakening, I call it, about 2 years ago. And that's when I started to become aware of my multidimensional aspects in nature. And I've always been spiritual, but this was like a big piece for me, bridging that connection. And so it was during that time that I happened to stumble upon some videos about people speaking light language. And right away, I felt the resonance. Like my heart was like, ooh, that feels good. Like there's something there that I'm supposed to learn. And so it actually started off with me just listening and receiving other activations. And right away, like I felt that like heart connection to that like soul frequency of that language and that the vibrations, and I could just feel it in my body. And so I remember at the time, I wasn't sure how I wanted to be of service for humanity, but I knew that I wanted to be a healer, to help bring healing to humanity and Earth. And I thought, what a beautiful way to just share like frequencies of love from the heart in a way that isn't traditional. It doesn't need words. And right away, I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I want to speak this. I want to share my wisdom and my medicine with the world. And so I set that intention. I remember I went out into nature and I just started writing it down that I set the intention that I would like to speak for the highest of all, and in
Mm.
service, and from a heart place, not like an egoic, like this is a new fun thing for me to do.
Exactly.
It came from like a desire to be of service.
Yes.
And, I set that intention and then I let it go. And I didn't focus too much on forcing anything. So it happened very naturally and organically. I was working with a shaman teacher at the time who was assisting me and doing a lot of my clearing out of everything and programs, conditions, ancestral stuff. And so it happened in one of our processes of just me being able to open up and cleanse all of my channels. After a session one day, I was guided by like my higher self to just, why don't you just try speaking one day? And I was in the
Mm.
bathroom and I was looking in the mirror and I just opened my mouth to like try to make a sound, and it was like a download. And I literally had a transmission come through where I didn't even feel like I was speaking it. Like it just came through me like automatically. And I was like, whoa, like it was like I was activated. And then I was so excited. Like I went live that day. That's how excited I was. I'm like, I'm making a video.
Nice.
I'm helping humanity with my light codes.
Oh, I
And
love
so,
that.
yeah, I just started. And then from then on, I've been speaking it for 2 years.
Wow. I love that you just went for it. Mine was similar to yours, where like the same thing. I was drawn, you and Richard, I would listen to you guys all the time. And I think I've
Yeah.
talked to you guys about that. And it got to a point, I think I talked to you personally about that, where I was starting to feel the pressure. And I was like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, can you just come out already? What is going on?
I
And
know.
I was in the bathroom too. And my higher self was like, why don't you just grab your phone and start talking? And then it just
Yeah.
came through. And I was like, oh, here we go. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
And yeah, because before then I was like, hi yourself, if you don't get this out, I will have to like take a class or something. Like it needs to come out, because the pressure was so like it was
Yes.
palpable. Like I just,
Mm-hmm.
and every time I would hear light language, it would just build upon it. And I'm like, oh my God, it needs to come. Like
Yes.
even drawing it or trying to, it didn't do it justice. Like it needed to come out that way. And my higher self would just be like, just be patient. We're preparing you. It will happen.
Right.
I'm like, can you at least relieve this?
Yes. Yes.
So when it came out, it was like, yeah.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Yes. And I feel like everyone's experience is different. And many of us have a hard time bypassing the mind because, when we first start speaking, the ego personality is like, what is happening?
What is happening?
And it can be like a lot at first when you first start speaking. So for me, I remember my transmission was very direct from my higher self to allow me to speak and feel confident in speaking. So it really felt like boom, 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 boom. And
Mm.
as I began to feel more comfortable, then I was able to feel more in balance and flow with it, so that I was
Yes.
able to actually speak and not feel like it's like literally shooting out of my mouth.
Yes. Yes.
That's how it started. It was like literally like I couldn't even stop.
It's just like, just get out there.
I
Yeah.
know, I
Yeah.
know. Like it was built up, like you said. So
Yeah. It's so interesting because so far, most people that I've talked to, they all felt that pressure, whether
Yeah.
it was within their heart or their throat or their
Hmm.
crown, but they felt it like it was coming. And then it just like, if they trusted the process and
Yes.
listened, it would just flow. So it's really
Yes.
cool to hear at least the commonalities, and then also the differences in how it's expressed. So, real quick, how would you define light language?
So I feel like light language to me is it's a soul and heart connection to our multidimensional selves. It bypasses the ego personality. So it is a vibration, tone, and frequency that allows for healing, downloads of information, messages. It can activate you. It can remove blocks. It's very much worked through intention as well.
Yes.
And there's something so powerful about light language because it does bypass the ego and the mind. And I find, the ego and the mind, sometimes there is fear and judgment and all kinds of things that get in the way when we're trying to communicate. But when we speak light language, the mind doesn't know what's being spoken or shared. So we're automatically connecting with our hearts. And when
Yes.
we're connecting from that straight source connection, there's no miscommunication. There's no, oh, I shouldn't have said that, or it's like I wish I would have taken, I wish I can take that back. There's none of that. it's
Mhm.
it's actually like pure, like heart-based intention, right from
Yes.
like your divinity being shared from like a soul to soul level,
I
which is
agree.
so beautiful and so powerful. And it can allow you to feel so many different emotions and experiences because it is empathic. It's an empathic level of communication. So when you receive light language or hear someone speaking it, you tune into it like you would tune into musical tones or a
Yes.
symphony. You feel it, you let it move you, you
Mm.
allow whatever emotions that are invoked by the sound you're listening to come through, and it's an experience. And
Mm.
so many of us are used to speaking from the mind, communicating using intellect and words and an understanding that is defined by like a linear way, whereas light language bypasses all human understanding and completely allows you to experience so much more beauty through your expression.
Mm. I'm just like taking that all in. It's so beautiful. And it is the truth. Like I think that's what I absolutely love about it, is that it bypasses the ego and the mind. It just
Yes.
like when I'm speaking it, whoever needs to receive it, it goes straight to their heart. Like whatever they need from it goes straight to their heart. I don't need to know what I mean. This is what it feels like a
Yeah.
package of all these frequencies that, you know, whoever listens to it might need. And so when you hear it, it's like, okay, you get this frequency. It feels more of a frequency to me than words. I feel like
Yes.
when I try to see what it means, it almost like limits it because there's
It does.
there's so
Yeah.
many levels to it in a way. So I was like, I'm not even, if I get a word or string of words come through, great, but I'm not gonna label it as this is what it is. I'm just gonna let it flow. Yeah.
And that's such a good point too, because it takes a level of trusting yourself and trusting what's coming through and trusting your connection. And, it is the ego that doubts, is this even a language, or is this even meaning anything? And, it's like we're trying to understand something that's so beyond this dimension. And again and again, I've had so many people say that, I've spoken in light language and it's brought them to tears, or
Mm-hmm.
they felt their heart expanding, or
Yes.
they just felt so much joy. And that's confirmation to me that this is actually something so beautiful and so sacred. And so, even I find that it works as a bridge through the multi-dimensions. So often when Richard and I are doing a transmission, we'll speak English, like if we're bringing through it messages, but then we'll
Mm-hmm.
bridge it with our light language. So it's actually bridging all
Ah,
dimensions. So we're bringing
yes.
it through like English so that it's understood at the third, fourth, fifth dimension, but then we start
Yes.
bringing in the higher light frequencies, which bridge it all. And it actually weaves in and out. So we're
Oh,
often guided to like bring through like transmissions where we speak English, pause, do light language, and then speak English, and then do light language, because it weaves it all together. And it actually takes out any sort of like way that you can interpret it or not understand it.
yes.
Because I find with English, with languages here on Earth, is that the language we developed, there's so many things that can be interpreted. How many times have we said something and someone perceived it differently than we actually meant it, or it came across differently than we said it because of the limitation of language here.
Exactly.
And light
Exactly.
language just bypasses all of that. So often when I'm having when I can't communicate properly to Richard, and I'm
Yes.
like, no, this is what I'm trying to say, and I'm trying to explain it again and again, and he's still not understanding what I'm trying to say, I'll just be like, hold on, and then I'll just speak light language to him, and we'll go back and forth. He'll speak, I'll speak, and we synchronize. And there's such a multidimensional communication going on that we actually synchronize to the point where
Yes.
we just understand and we can't explain it. It's like, okay, I get it now. We're in flow with each other. So it's so powerful
Oh,
to
I
be able
love
to do
that.
that.
The funny thing, Richard said that same example too, how
Yeah,
you're able, yeah, like you're able to communicate. Like if you can't understand each other, like on that physical level, you just bring that in and it syncs you. So that's really cool. Again, after this, I'm gonna look at my husband like, let's talk, let's chat.
oh my
In what
gosh.
language? I don't know.
And I'm always like that to Richard. I'm like, I'm so happy we have a secret language where we can talk to each other. We're so alien.
No, it's true. It's true. Like it's incredible that I think my husband has heard me speak it like to myself, especially when I'm playing with my son or when I'm rubbing his back, it just kind of
Yeah.
flows and he just kind of like just stares at me and smiles, or he would like say
Aw,
something back. Like of course he gets it. He's 2 years old. Like he's
yes.
like, yeah. And so I wonder, like, I need to like speak it to him, and I wonder how he's gonna like react and be like, "Of course, you would speak something like that. This is Abigail we're talking about."
Right. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay, when you first, I think we talked about that already. When you first spoke it, like when it came through, did it
Hmm.
shock you? Did it make you more excited? I love the fact that you set an intention. So when it's almost like you knew it would come through.
Yeah.
But did it also bring up like, oh, like a little bit of contraction? Like, I don't know. Like, what are some things that you work through as you were bringing that gift forward?
What's actually really interesting is that when I first started speaking, I was really excited because this was something I really wanted and had a desire
Yes.
to share and speak. And so when it came through, it felt like a gift and a blessing. And so I didn't feel like constricted when I was speaking it, but sometimes I'd go back and watch myself after bringing through a transmission. And then that's when my ego was like, oh my
Yes.
God, what are you doing? I can't believe you just posted that video of you making all those noises. Like, so I feel like the ego would come in after when I'd
Hmm.
watch it back. And sometimes, like it's hard, we're in the third dimensional reality. And
Yes.
yes, like we have those egos and those feelings of like, this is different than most people don't get on and start speaking different languages and moving their hands around. Um, it's really something you have to, get over yourself and just feel
Yes.
how much you're being of service and have that confidence and that self-love as you're moving through the process, because it is a bit of a process when you first start because it's different, right?
Exactly.
Um, yeah, so that was, my feelings towards it. I also was thinking too that there's only so much that can be perceived at this level of awareness. So I
Hmm.
know that so much is occurring that we can't even comprehend when we're bringing through these transmissions and when
Yes.
we're moving our hands around. How I equate it is, you know how like in movies when they have CGI and they're like
Yes.
fighting these invisible like dragons and things, and when you see it at that level, they look like cray cray, where you're like,
Exactly.
you're fighting something invisible, you're doing something that no one can see, but then they add in all the special effects, and then you're
And
like,
you're like, whoa.
whoa, that's awesome, right? That's how like light language is when we bring through these transmissions. Like you're seeing it
Yes.
without all the special effects. So you're
Oh, I
seeing
love
us
that.
speak and talk and move, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. But if you could actually perceive it from the high, like your 12th dimensional avatar looking down, you'd be like, look at all the stuff they're doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I
I,
agree. Because
I
I
feel
think
like that's
part
what
of
it
my
is.
gift, I think that's part of the thing, one of the ways that it moved me, because when I hear someone speak it, and this is also how I'm able to tell someone who is trying to mimic speaking, like if that makes sense. Like if there's not, like when you hear them, it's like, what are you doing? There's nothing coming out. There's no energy. I mean, no
Mm-hmm.
intention. It's just like you're just doing it because you think it's cool, versus someone who's really bringing through the frequency. Like I can actually see the symbols come through, the codes come through. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it looks like waves coming through. Like I can see it coming through, and I can feel it too, of course. And so it's really cool to like witness that level, and then also be able to receive that with my senses too, which I'm sure we're heading to that part where we will be able to, receive on all the levels of that. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And something worth mentioning too is that, Richard and I do a light language course, and we help people work through some of their blocks or their mind stuff when they first start speaking. And, if you think back to when you first started doing anything, it was basic. It sounded, or whatever you started doing, it wasn't at the level you are like a year later. So when I first started speaking light language, it was very like simple, and there was like very simple sounds, and the energy and frequency was there, but it wasn't
Yeah.
exactly fully developed. So it does take time to be able to develop and make that connection. And like as you grow as a soul, and like as you are able to connect to your higher self and your consciousness, you're able to then advance your own ability to speak light
Yes.
language.
The
Oh,
little one
we have a
sneaked
little
in.
brother.
Of
Hi,
course.
baby. He's like, I want to
Oh
join
my
in
God.
on the
Of
fun.
course. This is what he does. He sneaks in every now and then. Oh God.
Hi, buddy.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Aw. Hi, buddy.
Oh man. Go play with Daddy. Mommy's gonna finish real quick, okay? You're
Oh,
so
what a
cute.
sweetheart. He's so cute.
Daddy, come get him. Otherwise, we're not gonna get anywhere. He's gonna like take all of it. He's too cute.
Oh my
I'll
gosh.
be right out, okay? Yeah. His
Feel
face
the
is like,
love.
if my
That was
husband wasn't
adorable.
here, he would like be on my lap and like jumping around and like talking to. He's like learning from mommy.
You know what? Children are so sensitive, and they can feel the energy and the love,
Totally.
and they see you. Like
Oh yeah.
I will be out in public and kids just want to come up to me and hug me,
Yes.
or like they act like they've known me their whole life.
Exactly.
I get that all the time because they like, oh, I see you. Like I know who you
Yes.
are. I see your love. I see your heart.
Yes.
And there's no like you're a stranger. It's like pure
Yes.
just heart connection. So it's so
My
amazing.
son, he's picky. There's some people that he'll be like, don't even
Mm.
talk to me, don't look at me. We were in the gardens, like just walking around, and there was these couple, like that we met some of them, and he was like following that couple and like trying to talk to them, and then
Aw.
we met another couple because they had seen him interact, and he just like, no, no. I'm not, no, I'm not gonna talk to you. So they can sense things that
You
we
feel
can't.
it.
It's so, going back to the light language, the receptivity, right? I
Hmm.
think that's that's also very important. Like you being the channel, being receptive of what is coming through, not going through the mind, trying not to figure out what it means or what it's doing, and just letting it come through. And then also those on the receiving end, let's talk more about that. Like what,
Mhm.
like what if someone is not used to light language? What are some advice for them in terms of when they're receiving it?
Beautiful. So happy that you asked that. So often when I do bring through a transmission, I will always assist them in coming into their heart space. So it's such a beautiful tool to help you also get out of your mind, because I feel like that's what we're here to master is like, how can
Yes.
we get out of our minds, get out of judgment, get out of ego, or this is weird, because we came here to be all that we are and to step up and shine. And we all have such beautiful gifts to share with the world, but so many are so afraid of being
Yes.
judged. And so not only is it a process of overcoming your own insecurities, and developing your own level of self-love to not even care if someone thinks you're
Yes.
lost your mind because they're not for you at that time anyways, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
um for people who are feeling a resonance but having a hard time maybe getting into the experience, I walk them through a way to help them connect with their like empathic field, their heart, their emotions. So bringing them into a relaxed state. I often will say to close your eyes and just feel, because sometimes when we're looking, we're so aware that we're not actually feeling. So
Mm,
new people who are beginning to listen to light language, I tell them to just relax their bodies, get into almost like a meditative state, come into your heart, close your eyes, and just allow yourself to feel and set the intention to open your heart, because intention is powerful.
oh,
As
yes.
beings, of free will and sovereignty, when we work through intention, it is so powerful. So when we just say, I set the intention to open my heart to receive what's in my highest at this time, and I allow myself to come into that receptive, receiving position or feeling and frequency, and then I just open my heart. And then when I'm listening
Mm,
to the light language, I feel what emotions are coming up. I feel the sounds, the vibrations, the frequencies, whatever's coming through, and I just allow. And when I do that as well, for when I'm speaking it, sometimes I will get messages
mm-hmm.
that are also part of what I'm speaking. Or sometimes I'll just get an overall feeling of, okay, this is assisting with this. Or what's
Yes.
coming through is that this is like a lot of supporting energies, because sometimes it's just emotion. Sometimes it's just the frequency of joy, the frequency of love, healing. And so you can work with that intention to bring through whatever it is that you feel will help you or assist you, and always working with your
Yes.
highest. And so that's what I always recommend, and
I
it
love that.
always has been able to work in helping you connect with what's coming through.
I feel like this advice can also be applied for those who are shy to step in fully and share that gift with the world. It's the
Yeah,
same thing, dropping in. Um, I think it's a powerful way to drop in and be connected and, setting the intention and just letting it flow. Yeah.
absolutely. And so many of us have a fear of like being seen for who we
Yes.
are. This has come up so many times because, unfortunately, in our history, sometimes being who you are wasn't good enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, whether it was because of race or where you were from or the language you spoke. So when we start talking about like multidimensional languages and bringing in this new thing that's not as common, then it can be scary for sure, for the human self.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that I recommend for people who are starting out speaking light language is to practice. You can practice in the mirror, but you can also bring forth a transmission and just record it as an audio and start with that. because when there's no visual, it also helps people just to relax and go into that receiving state instead of watching, which brings up all mind stuff, right?
Yes, I agree. I agree. I absolutely agree with that. So at this point, is there a message or light language that wants to come through you for our viewers and listeners?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to bring through a message. I was really feeling into what was needed for the collective at this time, as I consider myself an empathic intuitive, and I work a lot through my emotions. And this is why I think I was able to connect so deeply with light language, because it was like second nature to me to be able to
Yes.
feel. I feel so much all the time, and it is my gift. And it is something that at one point I thought was a weakness, to be so sensitive in a world that has, learned to sort of harden, and to be someone who feels and experiences so much, the good and the bad. It felt like a curse sometimes. But
Yes, yes,
as I
yes.
awakened, I learned that it was actually a sensitivity that allowed me to connect and feel and experience the world so differently.
Yes.
And I think sometimes people don't realize that others don't see the world the way that you do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can remember being such a young child, or growing up and not understanding some of um, the things in the world that occurred. I was like, how can someone do something like that? How can you hurt someone and be okay with it? Like, I just didn't
Exactly.
understand. And it was, part of my learning that we're all, seeing the world through our own lens and our own perspective. So that was just a little side note that, I've learned to harness this sensitivity and this gift, to
Yes.
be able to connect and to be able to feel and experience so much more. So I set the intention for this light language activation to really bring
Mm.
through that feeling of connection to your heart, that feeling and connection to your soul frequency, and that feeling and connection to all that you are, connecting to the unconditional love that you are, and to allow you to really feel your heart, to feel your sovereignty, and to strengthen that connection with your multidimensional self if it is in your highest at this time. So I just invite everyone to close your eyes. Maybe you can place your hand on your heart. Sometimes that helps just to connect in. And we're just going to take a deep breath and breathe in and breathe out of our heart space. So breathing in and breathing out your heart. And I just like to imagine my heart energy filling up the room. Like, as I breathe out, I'm pushing out my heart and my love frequency into the room and just filling it up completely. And sometimes I'll just even imagine the room filled with pink light as I breathe out. And this just helps me to feel that connection to that love frequency. Alamu tariashkala kia namutu tariaskataramia tia kulekishkataramu diama. Nalamutali ashkala kotiamu. Nimutali ashkala kotekisketara mutali ashkala mutu tutututu. Ina mutali askara muishkaliati. Alamutana mutri askamu. Ikalamuto ishkamu. And just feeling the love in your heart right now. La motalia matilia notalia shkala kotukutukutukushkala y a la motaria skatara motaria la ishkala motaria skamu. And just letting go of anything within the heart, anything you're holding on to, as we are making room for that expansion today. Just give yourself permission to let go. Alamoya motalia shkala mutu. Yana motalia skala kia na muti ashka mutariani kiskiati. Ana mutalia shkala muturu. And just strengthening that internal guidance, feeling that heart as our compass. Amiana motali ashkamuta yaskatarama. Namutu nina maya lakaya lakutali ashkamuta yaskataramiti shkamutu. Inamutu tutututu. And the message that is coming through at this time is if you're ever feeling confusion or feeling an emotion or frequency that isn't in alignment with your highest, you can just take a moment to go into your heart and just to remember that you are love and that you are never separate from love, that it is within you. Aliamuta lakaya likiashkamuta liaskama. Inamutu la kuela keshkataramatri eskataranishtaramutu ishkalamutariaskanamaya, as this is an inner ascension, and the key to unlocking your highest path and your highest potential lies within your heart, lies within your ability to connect with this frequency, as when you are in alignment with your heart and you are connecting to the love that you are connecting to your divinity, you are connecting to source, and you are being reminded that you are having a human experience, but that you are always a being of love. You are already perfect in every way. Alamutari ashkalamutari eskatarama. Namutu ishkalayati akia namutu didididididididi. Analianani amutari eskatamushka mutu tututu. Namutali eskataramutari ashkamutu tutututututututu. And we can connect with this divine mother energy at any time simply by feeling the love that we are, whether you are male or female. You can call on this frequency of the divine feminine to connect with it within you. As we call in the beautiful aquamarine lights of the Mother Arc to assist us with this beautiful transmission of divine love, of divine nurturing support to assist us on our journeys, to reconnecting to our home within our hearts, as we can feel that feeling of home and connectedness within us. Alamuya yeshkalia tuyamu. Namutaliakaya shkalianu. Namutariaskataramutari aniamu. And they're showing me to imagine your heart as a beautiful rose in this moment, tapping into that connection of the rose, which is symbolic of the divine unconditional love frequency, and just feeling that rose within your heart opening and expanding and blossoming, and feeling that beauty that's within you. Iliam watash kalakotakish kataraniatia ana mutayash kalakotakaya ianulia motaria ashkamutu. And as we understand that everything is energy, everything is frequency, and when you're able to connect with your heart, you can begin to feel the resonance of everything in your world, to see if it is in alignment with your soul. And if it is not in resonance with your heart, that is okay. Just simply let it go and move on. There are so many distractions in this world, and everything outside of you will try to pull you into that energy. But it is so important at this time that we go into our hearts, that we find our center and our balance within, that we tune out the noise and we just allow ourselves to feel our love and to hold our love in full. To be able to hold that frequency is what we came here to do. Alamoya mutayashka lakotiyama, namutaliaskatarani kalakushkataramutari askataraminayashkomu, namutiskilia mutari askataramu. We are learning to anchor into our hearts. We are learning to release and free ourselves from our lower chakras, our lower chakras that keep us in survival and fear and resistance. And we are learning to feel the freedom within our hearts. Amu tayashkalayati amu. Namu tiliaskataramu tariashkamu tariaskama. Inamu taliashkamu. Analiatia kwarekushkata. They are reminding us at this time that our empathy, our empathic nature, our ability to feel is our strength, as it is our connection to our power. It is our connection to our God source. It is our connection to our higher self. And when we are in alignment with this, we are unstoppable. There is nothing that can come in and pull you away from this, as this is your embodiment. This is who you are at a soul level. And as we strengthen this heart connection, you will be able to strengthen your gifts. You will be able to strengthen everything that you are, so that you can begin to anchor this into earth. All your beautiful gifts that you came here to share with the world will be received through the portal of your heart. Whether you came here to be a writer, whether you came here to be a speaker, a painter, when you're able to tune into your heart frequency and connect with that frequency, you can then bring through your messages, your words, your art through the portal of your heart. And this is what is bridging the higher realms. This is what will create heaven on earth. They wanted you to believe that you weren't safe to feel, that you would get hurt if you opened your heart, that you would be persecuted if you were too sensitive or too open. This is a lie. This is a lie to keep you in fear, to keep you closed off from your connection. This was a deception for you to believe that you were small, but you are so much more powerful when you're able to connect with this frequency of love, as nothing is more powerful than love. Alamu namuti ariashkamu, namuteri askataramuteri ashkamuteri ariatiatiatia, anamuteli ashkamu. We are stronger as a human race when we can have empathy and love for all of humanity, and we are stronger when we come together in our hearts as one. Anyamuti shkalamuteri askamu, naliamutu. It is time, beloved souls, to remember who you are. As this frequency is who you are. Can you feel it? Feel your soul and your heart in this moment and tune into that frequency of love and feel your expansion. Feel all the healing that is coming through for you from your higher self at this time, from your guides. You are so loved. You are immensely loved and so supported on this journey. Believe this with all of your heart. You can accomplish and achieve anything that you set your heart to. Any desire you have, you can achieve it. You just need to believe that it's possible and let go of the fears, the limitations, the lack, any sort of emotion or frequency that is not in support of achieving what you came here to do. Let it go, because it is not you. It is not your truth. Let it go. Aliamotari ashkalamoto. Namanamaya la koya la kashkamu. Inaniatia to. Ishkamotaya skela kotea do. La moto. Namotari askataramotari ashkamu. Clearing, dissolving, releasing, transmuting. Taking a deep breath and just releasing. Feeling that loving frequency, that aquamarine light surrounding you in a beautiful cocoon as we bring in the aurora colors as well from our aurora families. See that beautiful magenta, pink, and golds and violet surrounding you with that aquamarine light. Alamotri ashkalamuto. Miania tute ati. Alogotri ashkataramu. Iliamu. You are not your mind. You are not your mind. You are not your mind. Aliamu manayashkalamotri askataramits karakutukutukutukutukutukutukutuku. Ikamuta. Anamuta yashkamu. And just bringing in some grounding energy as we ground into our bodies. Connecting with that 0 point within our between our rib cage. Ushkalamutu, itiataya, tia, niamutu, aramutariashkamu, itia toto alakoya, namutu tutututu. I love you all so much. Amutu liashkaramutu, we got this. I love you. Maliamutariashkamutariaskatarama, inamutu tututututu. From my heart to yours. Wow, wasn't expecting that to come through.
Oh.
Just breathing that all in. Coming back into our bodies, back into this dimension.
Exactly. We just had a full on transmission, everyone. What a blessing. What a blessing. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you.
You are so
My
welcome.
goodness. It's very interesting because before you even mentioned the rose, like I saw my heart rose like just get bigger and blossom. And then you mentioned the rose and I was like, yes.
So beautiful.
And then all the different colors that were coming through. It's just such a powerful and beautiful, soothing yet grounding transmission. Thank you.
You are so welcome. It's beautiful when we're able to set the highest intention for what needs to come through.
Yes.
And we can just step to the side. You know, had I tried to plan something, it wouldn't have been so beautiful and organic. You know, that's one of the things that I've learned on my journey is that we have this support. We have these teams of light that are here to help us. You know, we don't have to try to figure everything out by ourselves. And, you know, even in the act of trying to figure out and plan, we're using our minds. And we came here to free ourselves from that restriction. And so really when we just set our space, set our intention to be of service and ask what is in the highest full service for us, that's all we need to do. And you will be supported. Truly, you know, if you're wanting to step out and do this work and to help humanity and to help others heal, all you need to do is to set your intention, is to say, my beloved God self, I want to be of service. I want to help humanity. What is in my highest full service? And then learning to trust yourself and learning to trust the process. And then allowing yourself the opportunity to show up, because that is the biggest part. You know, showing up for yourself and turning on that camera and being like, this is me. And I'm going to be here to bring through a light language activation for humanity today, because this is what is needed. This is what is in full service. And this is what will help the most amount of people. And then just allowing my consciousness and the divine to work through me.
Yes.
And it's so powerful.
Speaking of support, Jessica, can you tell us more about your school, your Starseed School, and also how people who resonate with you and want to work with you and dive more into your magic can contact you and work with you?
Thank you so much for bringing that up. Yes. So, my beloved sacred partner and I, Richard Melchizedek, when we first came together, we wanted to be of service to help the star seeds because we saw so many star seeds that felt lost or that were struggling or didn't have the support or the guidance or the right atmosphere to feel the love and frequency that they needed to assist them on their journeys. So, my beloved partner and I, Richard, we created something called Starseed School. And this is something that we came together as a divine feminine, divine masculine, holding it together, the creation energy. And we hold space every Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. EST, and we simply show up to be of service to bring through whatever is needed for the Starseed Collective and those in our group container at that time, whether it's DNA activations, frequency supports, removals of implants. We do it all. It's simply galactic and it will be an experience. Each class is so powerful and unique because it's not just Richard and I delivering a transmission. It's all of us coming together as one. It's each person in that container. We all work together. There is no leaders in New Earth. So, if you feel called to be part of a community and to work on a multidimensional level, drop into one of our classes and, you'll join the team and your higher self will be working with us to bring through what's needed for you and for the star seeds. And, when you're able to show up for yourself, you're able to influence and impact everyone around you. So after you come to one of these classes and you receive what's needed for your highest, you will then influence people in your energetic field just by showing up. And that's how
Yes.
powerful this is because everything is energy. So you will carry a frequency or a download or data packets within your field that you can actually help people just by walking through the grocery store,
Yep.
because when we do this work and we're able to hold our frequency and our pillars, it changes our environment, it changes the people around us. And so we've created an alchemical container to hold you in this space of love, of higher frequencies. And when we all come together as one, it's so powerful. And, I feel like the transmission that came through today, with just myself, can you imagine all of us coming together? And, we always tune in and we're like, okay, Starseed fam, what do we need? And so Richard and I just show up and we get the honor to bring through these beautiful transmissions and these beautiful classes that will support you. And you will notice a difference in yourself as you show up because it's really about that self-love, knowing that you're worthy of being supported, you're worthy of receiving what you need, and knowing that we're calling in your higher councils of light. We're calling in all the teams that are supporting your mission that you chose before you came down here to help you remember who you are, because we've all gone through such a great level of amnesia, having to be incarnated in
Yes.
this level of density that most of us aren't used to this frequency and this density.
Mm-hmm.
So we came here to
Mm-hmm.
be of service. So we do need that support and that reminder of who we are, because Ascension is not just one stop, I'm done. It's a continual unfoldment. We always call it like a galactic onion, where it's like there's layers
Yes.
and layers and layers. And, once we think I know everything, you know
Hmm.
nothing.
Exactly.
And so that's why, as much as we love our school, it's going to keep growing because we
Yes.
started here and it's going to keep evolving as we evolve as souls and as our family evolves. And so anyone who's feeling called to be of service and to receive as well, we invite you to reach out and drop in. You can drop in for your first call and feel what it's like to be in that space and to be open to receiving. So
Mm,
this is our Starseed School. It also is online. So if you're not able to make the live call, the replay is just as powerful. So we actually have up to 9 months online available for anyone who would like to check out what that's about. We have
incredible.
a bunch of modules, and you can go at your own pace and binge or whatever you want to do. It's at your own time to tune into that energy because it's held within that space, in that frequency. Time
Yes.
isn't really an issue. So, if you're feeling called to like drop in for that particular session, it'll be like you were there. And it's such a
Yes.
beautiful thing.
Oh, and what is the website?
So it's starseedschangingtheworld.com.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
And how can people reach you to work with you?
So I do personal sessions. Richard and I are working really hard to get up a program right now called the 5D Heart Blueprint.
Yes.
So this is something that we're really excited about because, we felt on our journey that so many struggled with being stuck inside the mind and not knowing how
Mm-hmm.
to, integrate the ego personality and to step into these higher frequencies within the heart. And so we've developed this program, this online program. And, this is our baby right now, like our Ascension
Yes.
vehicle, because once you step into that space, you're supported. And it's all online as well. So I just
Beautiful.
felt called to say that. It is also
Yes.
on the Starseeds Changing the World website. But my personal website is therainbowgoddess.com.
Of
And there's
course.
tons of meditations. And of course, you can check out the Rainbow Goddess YouTube channel where I have lots of
Yes.
light language activations that are free that you can tune into as well. Lots
Beautiful.
going on.
Yes. And I'll have all this information in the show notes so you can find all the links on there and just go check out the website, go check out her YouTube page. Like, seriously, she is on fire. She and her beloved are on fire, like in terms of service to humanity. And you can feel, I'm sure you felt it with just the taste that we had today. And I just feel like I've been polished, like just
Yeah.
smoothed over and polished. Such a blessing that you have bestowed upon us today. Thank you so much, my love. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Abigail, for providing this space to be able to share the messages that are needed at this time. We need people like you to be able to organize these podcasts and these containers so that we can reach as many people as possible. So thank you so
Yes.
much for all that you do as well. We're so grateful
Mm.
for your service.
All right, my loves. With that, we're going to say thank you for showing up again this week to receive another powerful episode of the Sovereign Divinity Podcast. I want to hear from you. We want to hear from you. I want to hear how you felt with this. I want to hear what came up for you. And better yet, if you are feeling called to work with Jessica and her beloved, go for it. Don't even question it. Just go for it. It will open you up in ways that you can't even comprehend. From our hearts to yours. Bye, everyone.